As one of the world's biggest motorsports heads into the year's final stretch, it's time for fans to get behind the wheel with this season's teams and drivers, courtesy of F1 2012. Does Codemasters' third take on Formula One build momentum for the franchise, or is it starting to lose traction?
Hello and welcome to the fabulous Yas Marina circuit here in Abu Dhabi, the location for this year's Young Driver Test.
This year's F1 experience starts with the Young Drivers Test, putting you through your paces at Abu Dhabi's Yas Marina. While a tutorial isn't the most groundbreaking concept, it's been sorely missing from past games. These trials and videos soften the barrier of entry, introducing players to the intricacies of F1 driving with particular systems like KERS and DRS.
Follow my instructions and you'll do great.
F1 2012 also introduces 2 new modes for times when you don't have 3 hours to dedicate to a single race. Champions Mode pits you against each of the top 6 drivers in specific scenarios. For instance, one event challenges you to beat Lewis Hamilton in the rain-on dry weather tires as he catches up on wet ones.
I'm not sure his teammate is going to be able to resist a hard-charging Lewis Hamilton.
The other new mode, Season Challenge, provides a faster-paced career experience. There are only 10 races in the season, limited to 5 laps each. Between races, you'll choose rivals from other teams and have the chance to take their seat after 2 wins. Both of these modes are great if you're intimidated by long race times, and they add a more personal touch by focusing on the drivers as well.
Everybody's wondering who might have the measure of their rival. Let's find out.
The main career hasn't changed much, but it has seen its share of improvements. You tour all 20 of this season's races for 5 seasons, passing through the fast turns of Hockenheim and the cramped confines of Monaco. As before, races can be set to 25% of official length, or you can take on a full 50 laps or more. There are a few more teams to choose from at the start, although if you go with Force India, they'll understandably have higher expectations than HRT. Qualifying rounds now include a handy feature that allows you to fast forward and monitor opponents' times, and the pointless interview questions no longer cap off each race. Online options are virtually the same, including quick 3-lap races and endurance races, or you can try your luck in custom player lobbies. Additionally, the Co-op Championship lets you progress with a friend online, but local play via split screen and system link is limited to single races.
Great job, what a win.
Driving with others online can sometimes cause utter chaos, but at times, this can be more true to life than the cautious AI. A penalty system discourages players from bumping into each other, and it works well for the most part, although there are times that you can be unfairly penalized. There's also a bug online that causes yellow warning flags to be perpetually signaled in a sector even when there are no apparent hazards to avoid. Much of the challenge of F1 comes simply from getting around very fast technical circuits. It requires intense concentration, an understanding of constantly shifting variables, strategic use of systems like KERS and DRS, and endurance over the long haul. However, once you get a sector or a lap just right, it feels incredibly satisfying.
Deploying KERS in the low gears gives the best return and can pay off greatly when used at the start.
Handling in F1 2012 feels grippier and offers a better sense of momentum as the G-force pulls against your steering. Toggling off various assists lets you customize the challenge to your driving level, but it can be hard to find the right balance of competition with the AI, as there's a huge jump between dominating on the intermediate setting and falling hopelessly behind on professional difficulty.
You've lost your front wing.
With new compounds from Pirelli, one of the biggest stories of this year's Formula One season has been how each team has had to figure out how to get the most out of their tires. But unfortunately, tire wear doesn't play as big of a role in the game. You can sense the slight differences in grip as a tire warms up and wears down, but you're never taught how to get more out of your tires, certainly not to the point where you can run a race on fewer pit stops. Plus, if you're racing on the popular 25% length setting, tire wear isn't even a factor since the wear rate doesn't scale accordingly. Likewise, collisions between AI drivers are rare and quickly cleared away, and the only time we saw the safety car was in a scripted scenario in Champions Mode.
You have no more scheduled pit stops, so look after your tires.
However, while these elements of the sport are somewhat lacking in F1 2012, there have been a number of other improvements that enhance authenticity. You're more likely to see penalties or have to drive through the pit lane after a collision. Picking up tire marbles while driving off the racing line is more noticeable, and fuel management plays a greater role, making it easier to run out of gas like a dummy if you stay on a high mix for too long.
Be aware, we think the car behind is trying to save fuel.
Past F1 games already feature genre-leading weather systems, but Codemasters is continuing to push its technology forward in F1 2012. Rain beautifully transitions from a subtle sunny shower to dark storm clouds, all with corresponding changes in traction. In some situations, you'll find half the track drying out while rain continues to fall elsewhere, keeping you constantly on your toes. When it works, it's brilliant, but the system can be problematic, causing unintentional issues with grip and AI pacing that Codemasters is promising to iron out in an upcoming patch. The paddock and trailer of past F1 games have been ditched for a sleeker front end focused on the car and drivers. There's dramatic music to celebrate each of your wins, and former Formula One driver Anthony Davidson provides nuanced commentary on tracks when you preview them. Unfortunately, this TV-style presentation doesn't really carry into the career. Races are introduced with the same lethargic shots, and you never really get a sense of race day buzz from the crowds or sportscasters. In-game, track surfaces are detailed and varied with sun glinting off the road, and it looks phenomenal in progressive stages of wetness. There's a lot of depth to engine sounds, letting you know precisely what's going on with the car, and the sound of it sliding in the rain can send chills up your spine. Some smaller details could use a bit of work. The branding on cars still looks rough on close-ups, and you can't see drivers past a certain distance in your side mirrors. Plus, with so few models for the pit crew, you and your teammate will drive out looking at the same guys in co-op. While the driving in F1 2012 is as tough as ever, quicker modes and a greater emphasis on driver rivalries make it easier for a broader audience to get into. There's still plenty of room to make for a more exciting depiction of the sport, reflecting the trends of a given season, but Codemasters continues to push its strengths to create demanding and detailed racing gameplay. See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.